There are a number of things that we tried to, beyond just addressing what the Honorable Chair said in her opening remarks, of having an efficient and effective department and entities. There are a number of things that the analysis concluded on. The first one is that for the funds to function properly and to introduce governance that is responsive and effective, we do have to consider to take them as Schedule 3A as per the Public Finance Management Act. And that will allow them to have a board, to have effectiveness in terms of governance, to have accountability, improvements, to modernize and to be effective in how they deliver services. The second one is that there will be an overall performance improvement across the department and the portfolio itself, especially when it comes to inspections and enforcement services, as well as the public, the employment mandate, which are quite critical in how we make the economy to be better and the labor market to be responsive. The third one is that there is a need for the research function to be elevated so that there is a clear understanding of how policy functions, how policy impacts on the labor market, how policy affects investment decisions and the job market. And then the last one, obviously, is the issue of modernization and digitization, that not only of the department and the entities, but also of the functions and the services that are provided, so that we're able to conduct inspections using digital tools, and South Africans are able to access services from the comfort of their home using mobile devices and so forth and so forth. We have also, I won't go into detail in this on the slide, honorable members, because the background that was given by both the Honorable Deputy Minister and the Honorable Chair highlighted the challenges that we've been finding and we're trying to address. This includes disclaimers and the need to improve audit opinions, the need to address and eliminate irregular expenditures, including unauthorized payments by dealing with the irregularities that we have, addressing weak internal controls, ensuring that there is an update on the outdated systems that we work on or we use, ensuring that the staff that we have are adequately trained and they're able to service the clients effectively, and eliminating the use of compensation funds in risky investments in unlisted entities, and ensuring that those are affected in a way that there will be a recovery on investment. Honorable Deputy Ministers, we also are seeking to improve accountability. We are seeking to enhance service delivery. We're seeking to ensure that we improve strategic oversight by both the minister and the deputy ministers, as well as parliament, to ensure that we boost governance and that there is effectiveness in how service delivery is delivered across the portfolio itself. So this is, in a nutshell, all the areas that we have spoken about, including how we've dealt with the situational analysis to ensure that we have proper diagnosis. We ensure that there is an understanding of the root causes of the challenges that we face, including when it comes to governance, to service delivery, to accountability, to staffing, so that whatever medicine is prescribed, it is the correct type of medicine and deals with not only the symptoms, but also the actual challenges that are there. We are working on a new operating model for the department that will elevate the issue of research, the issue of how we respond to Auditor General findings, the issue of how we monitor the entities of the department and provide support at the national level or headquarters. Also, how the department itself provides the necessary support that is required to the UIF and the CF. And this also includes the need for both those funds to have a new operating model that is then being dealt with at that level. Honorable Chair and honorable members, we will be coming back to the select committee and the portfolio committee in the sense that we have drafted legislation to amend the Unemployment Insurance Act as well as the COIDA so that they can allow for the new operating model so that we can see a new fund that is a Schedule 3A. I will come later on to those areas. And all of this is done in a manner that allows us to continuously communicate with the strategic stakeholders such as yourselves, as well as the critical stakeholders, including organized labor and staff members within the department. Again, this is an overview of what we have done so far. We have identified the risks. We have also clarified the need and the business case for the unbundling and the ideas around what type of a operating model we're going to have within the department. We're also coming back on the issue of legislation and organizational change. And then most importantly, the issue of stakeholder buy-in and the understanding of what the strategic direction is going to be. Honorable Deputy Ministers and DGG Bahumi, we have done a number of things in terms of progress that has been recorded. The first major deliverable that we've done is the conceptualization and the situational analysis. We have shared some of the documents that are here, and this document as well, the presentation we're making, will also include some of the progress that has been done. We have a business case for the reconfigured DEL that will be finalized and shared as well. There is a process that we're dealing with in terms of how we're going to manage the transition of the UIF as well as the compensation fund into Schedule 3A. We are facilitating the process towards the amendments of the UI Act as well as the COIDA. We are also talking about the support that will be needed via the work streams, which we'll present later on. And obviously, how we then see have C being in a way that it becomes more effective, efficient, and sustainable from its own space. And the one thing that has been a challenge throughout the process of many public sector reforms in the world, not only in South Africa, is the issue of post-legal separation support, which is quite important in terms of clarification of what the processes are supposed to follow and achieve. In terms of the two processes that we are running parallel to each other, the first one is the actual transformation project of the department, which is what both the Honorable Chair and the Honorable Deputy Minister spoke about. The need to continuously use change management approaches to institutionalize the new way of working at DEL so that there's more accountability. There's a thinking around the use of technology, the use of new models of functioning, the development of a new functional structure that addresses and ensures that the new mandate or the expanded mandate is truly developed, engaging both the DPSA, the Department of Public Service and Administration, as well as National Treasury, to ensure that whatever we are proposing speaks to the prescripts. As the Deputy Minister mentioned, we are doing this as per the book and in accordance with the law. The second part is the issue of ensuring the post-legal separation engagements that we spoke about in the previous slide is to ensure that whatever, with the current joint or integrated functioning of the compensation fund and UIF and the department itself, will need that there is a discussion and an agreement on what will be the new working relationship. There's a sharing of technology, sharing of resources, sharing of offices, and there is a need for that to have a workable agreement on how we then separate and which ones will continue to be shared and which ones will continue to be integrated. And with that integration, what does it mean in terms of software to ensure that there's a continued benefiting of the economics of scale? There is also a need for us to have an agreement on what we mean when we say, or what is the what we mean when we say these are implementation progress. These are the milestones that must be implemented or be met, and agree right from the start, so that the honorable members can be able to track and hold us accountable as a department and the portfolio in general. The work that has been done thus far, Honorable Chair and honorable members, we have registered a number of critical milestones. There are some 3 major ones that will be delivered by the end of the first quarter of this upcoming financial year, 2026, my apologies, 2027, which are a developed business case for a reconfigured employment and labor, which will also include the structure on how we're supposed to function and so forth. A new business case again for the UIF and a new business case for the compensation fund. All of these should be done by June, and we are hoping that they should be done by the first by the month of May, actually, so that by June there is that level of space for engagement. We have also finalized the business case for C, so that it is able to deliver on and be sustainable, as mentioned earlier. We are also looking at working closely with the select committee as well as the portfolio committee on the issue of the legislative amendments that should be done by the third quarter, in around the second quarter, rather, around September, and then the finalization of all of those with the introduction to Parliament. We are planning and hoping that they can be done by the second quarter of the next financial year. Throughout this process, honorable deputy ministers and members and chair, we are hoping that we will be able to provide a level of accountability, continual communication, continual support, engagement with staff, understanding what the post-legal separation will entail, and having all the consultations that are required by both the law as well as the common decency that governs the democratic order in South Africa. Throughout the presentation, I have been making a number of references to the service delivery model engagements with the National Treasury as well as the DPSA. So I'm not going to go into detail with the slide. Safe to say that we are working very closely with the technical team from the Department of Public Service and Administration that ensures that whatever we propose in terms of the new service delivery model as well as the organizational structures meet the requirements set out in the public service regulations, as well as the directives, as well as ensuring that the National Treasury processes are also aligned to. We will request an active support in terms of the dealing of legislative processes from the honorable members, in the sense that once the legislation, the amendments are introduced to Parliament, that process becomes fully the responsibility of Parliament. We will, as a department, provide support. However, we will request that there be that active support and follow up from the members of Parliament, so that we meet the targets that we have set for ourselves. We have received the socioeconomic impact assessment report from the presidency on both the amendment bills, and we are happy that they are in support of that. We have also engaged and are engaging the Office of the Chief State Law Advisor. They give us some feedback, and we responded to the areas that they had provided queries on, and we do hope that there will be feedback provided to us within this month to ensure that the other processes of introducing to the cabinet cluster process and other prescribed legislative path to legislation document are followed, so that there is that meeting of our targets. We have also looked at the issues of the technical support. We are implementing all the recommendations that were made by previous consultants and engagements, including those that are now supporting us from National Treasury. We have established a number of work streams to ensure that these are able to operationally and effectively deliver on the areas that we've spoken about, that speaks to the management of service, the technological approaches to the unbundling strategies, the issue of macro structures that we've been speaking about, and all the other areas. Honorable Chair, following the approval of the SACE report, we have then made a number of approaches to fast track the amendment bills, including following up and writing with the acting director general, formally writing to the Office of the Chief State Law Advisor, to fast track the certification process of both bills, and we are awaiting that certification as we speak. In terms of the current status of both the UIF as well as the compensation fund business cases, we are expected to finalize them by June. As mentioned earlier, there are 6 areas that we are looking at: the strategic implications, the human resource implications, to ensure that we are sustainable and we are within the allocated PES, the financial implications and asset allocation, as mentioned earlier, on how we deal with issues of accommodation, issues of laptops and so forth in terms of ICT infrastructure. We are also continuously engaging on change management and communications, and obviously the issue of legal implications of the processes. I have, Honorable Chair, already spoken about the process we're following on the legislative processes, excuse me. And now the only outstanding matter before we move to the next area will be the issue of OXLA certification, so that they can be progressing to the economic cluster for tabling. In terms of the governance and work streams, the governance work streams rather, that have been established, one of the key questions that you asked in the previous iteration on this matter is that we have had a number of start and stops, in terms of stop and goes rather, in terms of the reforms that have been made. So the minister and the 2 deputy ministers have, and the DG have ensured that we have a governance process that will allow us to meet the final destination that have been set for us. And that includes the establishment of a program management office that will be managing the day-to-day operation and coordinating the unbundling project, having functional work streams and that will go through them very soon, and then having a tighter ministerial oversight as well as a departmental executive committee oversight. In terms of the delineation of work that is being done by the various levels of governance, the minister and the deputy ministers are responsible for the overall direction and oversight of the unbundling processes. They make key decisions. They serve as a political oversight and provide strategic direction where needed. They provide updates to NADLEC, and as today we're supporting them, provide updates to yourselves as the honorable members of the select committee. And they meet quarterly, and recently they've been meeting more and more, so that as part of fast tracking more frequently, as part of fast tracking some more and fast tracking some of the functions that we've been doing and unblocking any challenges that we've identified. The DG's Unbundling Committee, or the ESCO committee, leads and manages the design of the work that we've been doing, including the overall unbundling process. They make decisions that integrate across the portfolio. They ensure that whatever decision was taken by the Ministers' Oversight Committee gets implemented. There is that issue of ensuring alignment across the UIF, the CF, and the department itself. They communicate frequently with staff and other critical stakeholders. They receive the recommendations from the PMO. They decide on those recommendations and then make decisions that are then fed into the Ministerial Oversight Committee. They continue to ensure that whatever decisions are taken by the Ministers' Oversight Committee are implemented as required. There are a lot of colleagues that sit in that committee, because this is where the actual work and the actual decisions on funding is taken. Then we have the PMO and work streams. And within the work streams, the actual operations of the work of the unbundling project takes place across these areas. We will go through what those work streams are to ensure that there is an understanding. The first one deals with policy, strategy, monitoring, evaluation, and reporting, and it ensures that there is a new understanding, and once there is that separation that happens, or the unbundling rather, there is a coherence across policies, across the strategy. We work together, we align, we support each other, and there is accountability in how we report, we monitor, we evaluate, and provide an update to all the critical stakeholders. In terms of the human resource work stream, which I also have the opportunity to chair, we then provide the engagement with organized labor. We look at what type of skill sets we'll need when we move to the new unbundled functioning and service delivery model, the trainings that will be needed, the skills gaps that exist, and how we can plug those, and ensuring that, most importantly, the human resources that we have within the portfolio speak to the new mandate and the new approach of work that is done. I've spoken at length, Honorable Chair, on the issue of communications and change management. The most important part is that all the people, all the officials, all the stakeholders that must be aware, that must be kept abreast, that must be made, that must be informed of the implications of whatever changes we're coming with, are continuously part of that process. And this, we hope, will ensure that there's institutionalization across the process whilst it's being done, and there is that effect. The next one is the issue of finance, which then deals with financial matters. The legal one largely deals with the amendment bills, but also the post-legal support in terms of what needs to be done later on. The issue of technology, Honorable Deputy Ministers, is one that is critical because the service delivery model will then determine how we then function. But there is a lag that we're trying to also recover from in terms of ensuring that there is a transition towards digitized services as part of my Mzansi that is led in the presidency, as well as ensuring that the technology that we have and the operational, the softwares that we have are actually used in a manner that will then allow us to use technology and move towards a high impact environment. Honorable Chair and honorable members, throughout the presentation, we were highlighting some of the risks that we have highlighted. And in the next two slides, we just highlighted that we are aware of them. We have also rated them. And we think that we will be able to manage them in terms of how we respond, we respond to the manner in which we deliver on this process. The first one is the issue of service delivery risks that we don't carefully plan the unbundling process and it leads to disruption of service. The second one is that we might have a budget shortfall due to the budget cuts that are happening. And if we don't really plan much on the issue of ICT and the softwares and the issue of accommodation, we might then have a problem in terms of those areas. The other one is the issue of human resources, that there might be a low morale if we don't really communicate in time in terms of reallocating staff when we have separated and what might be the implications in terms of pensions and ensuring that no one is left in a worse position that they are currently. There is also the issue of ICT risk that we have spoken about that may lead to failures or unplanned downtimes. And based on all of those things, we have decided that we are going to have a people-centered and adaptive approach. All the assumptions that we made when the process started might have changed. Therefore, we want to be adaptive to respond to all those risks that we have identified there and design targeted interventions, including on areas that are ensuring that there's a clear project plan that everyone is aware of. There's a clear assessments of where we are, whether the staff are with the management and they understand their part and they're ready, and ensuring that wherever there are areas of challenges, they become targeted change interventions that are then implemented. But most importantly, we also want to recognize and celebrate milestones when we reach them as part of motivating staff and ensuring that there is a level of accountability as well as of recognition. So, in short, Deputy Minister. And the deputy ministers and honorable deputy ministers and honorable chair and honorable members, this is how far we have gone in terms of the unbundling process. There will be a need for an active management of the bills if we are to meet the ambitious timeframes that we have set ourselves. There will be a dedicated support team, as DDG Bahumi has mentioned, on how we then move forward in these areas that we have identified, and we will be coming back to provide the necessary support. Honorable Chair, before I close, there is a number of slides beyond this area that provides the timelines, the detailed updates on what will be going forward in terms of the accountability. We want to provide openness so that there is an understanding of what are the plans and what are the milestones so that we can be held accountable. I am handing over back to the DDG as our leader and the Honorable Deputy Ministers. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I think you can then direct the meeting. Thank you so much. That's the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Mabunda, and the DDG and the DM for his input as well. Colleagues, we've heard a mouthful. I'm sure there are issues of concern. I would like to recognize hands for questions, and just once again to the department, keep note that the members will ask a question and you will have to respond to them directly. I see two hands so far, that of Honorable Montwedi and Honorable Pinar, and could I just, for the sake of the DM and the department, that you show yourself and then you can switch off your video again. Okay, so we'll follow Montwedi, Pinar, Modise in that order. Thank you. Honorable Montwedi.
Thank you very much, House Chair, and a very good morning to the two deputy ministers and the staff of the department, all honorable members and our staff in for the supporting the portfolio, the select committee. Chair, I have a very serious concern with what we have just received now. I want to just ask a number of questions. One, to say, is unbundling of these entities enough? And to really deal with governance challenges that we have observed in these entities or in this for the longest period. Is it enough unbundling, or unbundling is just a process that is used? You know, the presenter said, are we administering the right medication? Is the right medication unbundling, or is the right medication inculcating the culture of accountability as it is? So is it a well thought process that we must go the route of unbundling? And I'm also more uncomfortable because the presenter comes here with a half-cooked story. Should I pose all my questions and then they'll respond later?
Yes, please.
That's fine. The presenter, Ntate Nico, comes with a half-cooked story. The reason why I'm saying it's a half-cooked, because in his own words, he said we might have a budget shortfall. Might. Now, does this mean at this stage they are not aware of the cost implication of this unbundling process? Do they know the cost implications there? And how are those costs? Have they done a cost-benefit analysis of that unbundling? And at what additional cost will it be to the fiscus? He mentioned that all departments are experiencing budget cuts. Now, how special will these be that they will not experience the budget cuts and then they will not be able to fully implement their process of unbundling? Now, another thing that the presenter spoke about, Chair, is that he said there's going to be a tighter ministerial oversight and a firmer executive oversight. Now, I wanted to ask that statement, is it an admittance that in its current form, the department and the executive authority has failed to play oversight roles in these entities, hence the failure? Because he said tighter. Does it mean the ministerial oversight in these entities before was not tighter, hence the collapse? So it's better to know the root causes than to deal with symptoms. So if we know that it's about tighter ministerial oversight, then it means there has to be a change in terms of the oversight that has to be played in these entities, because possibly with tighter oversight, there's no need for a process of unbundling. Now, Chair and members, if you remember, we went on oversight to supported employment initiatives. We must commend you. It's a very good initiative from what I saw when we have visited there. But I want to ask you, you are now talking about that we are going to make this Schedule 3 entities, this and this and that. I want to find out from you, because the CEO, when we visited there, he indicated that this SEE are struggling to sell. He said, which you must commend the Western Cape Provincial Government of Health, that they are their only biggest customer that are buying from them your linen for hospitals and this and that. And all other departments are not countrywide. So I want to know that as part of these reforms that you are proposing, have you done a preferential procurement amendment so that these entities, especially the supported employment initiatives, that government departments should procure from them? Because this is about building state capacity that we will definitely support. So does your reforms, do they include, because you are going to have boards and what at the supported employment initiatives, but you would have not solved the problems.
Honorable Montwedi, sorry, the supported employment enterprises falls under DTIC, isn't it? No, it doesn't. It falls, sorry, I'm wrong. It is employment and labor.
So must I continue?
Thank you, yes.
Yes, so are you dealing with that identified problem raised by them? Or you are just superficially saying, no, we're changing this and this, and they still sit with the same problem? It's a good initiative, I must repeat that. They still sit with the same problem where there's no one buying from them, only the Western Cape Department of Health that procures from them. Is that part of some of those reforms that you're bringing there in that space? Now, the other thing is that the AGSA, on their findings around irregular expenditure, you have 97% of irregular and fruitless expenditure that is still not unresolved. Now, with what we are talking about today, how will unbundling assist in dealing with this? Is this a matter that will be resolved by unbundling, or this is one of the root causes that we are actually administering the wrong medication on a patient? How will unbundling deal with this, with that 97% of irregular and fruitless expenditure still remains unresolved? And so how will unbundling assist this? There are preventative controls that are still not implemented after the AG has repeatedly warned some of these entities. Now, how will this be resolved by unbundling? So are we administering a right medication in this approach that we want to do? So just to round up on quickly remaining things, is that we know that the compensation fund, there are serious challenges. You have 12 consecutive disclaimers. You still have an acting commission after 2 years. How will unbundling make sure that there is leadership, that you have a commissioner appointed for 2 years? You failed to appoint a commissioner by the compensation fund. We know what's happening at the UIF. We received a presentation earlier. So it's just a challenge. Let me not go there. Just last two things on my side is that you spoke of that stakeholders have been consulted. Can you get a list of those stakeholders that have been consulted? You have organized labor there. And you're saying, has organized labor also, has they endorsed the unbundling? And when will we get? I remember at some point when I was still in National Parliament, we were waiting for the road to autonomy for the commission for almost 20 years. Now, when will we get a full unbundling roadmap to be made public so that we know that these are the milestones, these are the targets in terms of when will these milestones actually be reached? Now, The last thing on my side, Chair, is on the Department of Employment and Labour. You spoke of a tighter ministerial oversight, this and this. To me, this says something different. Maybe to you, it says something different altogether. But does your department have the capacity to manage the unbundling? Do you have the capacity? And are there any external players that are assisting? You spoke of consultants that are doing this and this and that. Are there any external players, and at what cost? And is that an additional cost, or at what cost is that costing the taxpayer? With that, Chair, thank you very much. I'll wait for the department to respond to some of those questions.
Thank you, Honourable Montweni, and sorry for the interjection. I was wrong. DDG, you and your team, if you could respond, not to some of the questions, to all his questions. Thank you.
Chair, can I come in first here? Because we are part of what is being presented here. There are just few issues, and then the team will come in, but I would want the DM who Nemaxina Chabalala to come in as well on the matter of SEE in particular, because she's delegated while the team is here, because at times some of the things, it helps that we clarify them even at our level as the executive authority. Chair, I'll be very quick. One thing I must say, Chair, is that the issue of unbundling, it's an issue that is being handled very well, but it's a car that is in motion. When it comes to whether I will start from the back, whether we are using consultants and we are paying for them, how much are we paying? We're working with GTech. The department does have the capacity. For the progress that we see today, that we are presenting to the committee, it's the work that has been handled by the department, it's the work that has been handled by GTech, which is a state entity from the Treasury. It's not consultants that are coming from outside. Very capable, highly technical, with capacity, same as the department. We are using our own team members who are highly capable in handling these matters, led by the acting DG. So we are quite certain that we'll be able to deal with the issue of handling the unbundling. Where there are shortfalls, obviously, if there are any, we believe that we will be able to rise to occasion. On the issue of who we have consulted, all the stakeholders, they are going to give you the list, but I can say it here. Organized labor is part. This work that we are doing, organized labor is part of it. From the inception of what we are doing, the stakeholders that are at NETLEC, whether you talk about organized labor, you talk about business, you talk about organized business, you talk about the community, that everybody that is represented there, they are part of the work that we are doing. They are making inputs. We are moving together. We are not leaving anyone behind. We are not leaving anyone behind because we understand the importance of this process we are in. Is the unbundling enough to resolve the challenges? The challenges, we agree, Honorable Mutwedi, that there are massive challenges that we are faced with. And that's what has made us to take this route of unbundling, which we are quite certain, and I can safely say it here, that we are quite certain that it is going to be able to resolve our challenges. The Schedule 3 kind of an entity, it works like SARS, with quite a number of it works as if it's half private sector, half government. Not saying we're privatizing, but it's the manner it works and the efficiencies, how efficient it works. We know that the state at times is very cumbersome. The processes of the state are very cumbersome. But with the Schedule 3 entity that we are establishing with these entities, the issue of efficiency, the turnaround time of doing things, whether you are procuring or we are delivering services, is going to be faster, better, and quicker. But also the controls that are going to be in place, as the presenter, Mr. Mabunda, was saying, that even in terms of the ICT systems that we are having already, these entities are working on them to improve them. But after they are being unbundled, there is going to be a lot of changes that is going to come in making sure that we take them to a level. We always say what you see at SARS is what you are going to see with these entities, because we are also looking at some of the entities that are within the state that are functional, that are working very well, so that we take lessons from them. We're not just sitting back and thinking that what we are coming up with is what is going to work and is what going to help in changing what we see currently. The ministerial oversight, has it been weaker? Because Mabunda presented that it's tighter and it's firm. It's firm everywhere. It's been firm, but I think the emphasis here is to say the ministry is taking a closer look on the work that is done when it comes to unbundling. They are focusing on unbundling, that this process in particular, we are not far from it. Ourselves, we are closer to it. We are monitoring each and every step so that we try by all means to meet the timeframes and the deadlines that we've put in place. Obviously, there are some processes that are not in our hands. This process is going to go to Parliament, the public. Some of these processes are not in our hands in terms of the time that they will take. We might not be able to reach the timelines, but we are striving on our side to make sure that we meet the timelines with the budget the shoestring budget that we have. Why we are saying that the budget we might have a shortfall, it's because things are changing every time. Our economy, our fiscus, the budget cuts, yes, it's true. We can't just not say to the committee and say, no, everything is well. We are having enough budget. Budget will never be enough, but we are working within the shoestring budget. And then let me maybe allow the DM Nematsinga Shabalala to deal with the matter that was raised by the honorable member regarding SEE. Then the team will come in on some of the issues that we haven't covered. DM.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister Sibia, and thank you to the Chair of the Portfolio Committee of Select Committee, including honorable members. Allow me, my video will be off. I'm in a place where it's really, really bad in terms of network. Just to also greet the portfolio, or rather the departments that are here. I don't know whether there is somebody from C, but from what I'm gathering, I think what is more important for us is to appreciate honorable member, and I do appreciate the questions, that C has been going under financial distress for quite some time, and this has not happened in our administration. We found C being in distress, and reasons being C has been subjected to a process of PFMA that requires C to bid for tenders, just like any other. As a result, the procurement preferential, it is not necessarily there. And that imposes serious challenges for C, because it is an entity that is meant to assist with part of the priorities of government, being that one of assisting vulnerable communities, specifically for persons with disability. And in this instance, we've got a situation where we have hired persons with disability. However, what we are having currently is that in the factories that we have 13 in the country, all of them, we have not been receiving much support from government in terms of placing orders, because that's how C has been able to survive since its inception. As a result, government and different departments will go and procure these things that C deals with, being furniture and including linen, that they will procure from obviously the open tender system. As a result, this limited orders has made C to face financial strain, including the hiring of persons with disabilities. Previously, it used to be 3,000, and today we're sitting at less than 1,080. Reason being, people of attrition will kick in. However, there isn't much jobs that is going on, hence C is unable to reach its target that it needs to do that annually to hire more persons with disabilities. You will see in these other factories. Hence, it's very prudent that at the level of the select committee as well, you're able to assist assist us to also communicate to your premiers, to the MECs responsible, especially for education and health, for them to procure. Because if they do that, then C can come back to its financial and turnaround where it needs to be at. However, this number of interventions that we are doing, we have done a marketing strategy for C that is new. There is a turnaround that has been worked at by the PSA that is busy with turning around the entire entity such that it fits purpose, it meets the demands insofar as their organizational structure is concerned. GTech is working on the business case of C such that we're able to leverage and make sure that C reaches what it needs to be doing. But also just to note that we do have priorities with C, especially on the 7% procurement target in line with the MDP. And you would also recognize that the president spoke about this in his SONA to say all government departments should be in a position to reach the 7% that needs to happen, such that these departments that we have, including the private sector colleagues, that we don't have this employment of persons with disabilities, including in this department, but in the MTDP for women and youth and persons with disabilities. And this is in line with that preferential procurement as we await the regulation to be developed by National Treasury. And we hope this can also assist ourselves. We are also going to be taking a memo to the cabinet, to the president, such that even including from Treasury and other and from cabinet, it's able to be clear to these departments to say they need to procure from C. Maybe the last point will be there is legislative amendments that you would know that they're going to take off in terms of assisting C when it comes to its legal standing as well, when we're going to be doing such labor laws amendments that we're going to be looking at the finalization as well, such that we're able to deal with C in that matter. So I really appreciate Honorable Mtusi for your questions, but I also would want you to, if there's any other issues that perhaps I've not spoken to you, the chair can allow you to come back so that at least I'm clarified. As I said, my network is a bit bad, so I was kind of fainting there. So I hope that I was able to cover, but if there's any other matter, please come back to myself. But we really, Deputy Minister of Employment and Labour knows as the ministry that we're trying very hard to get this entity to work. We need you at the level of, especially the provinces, to really drive home to the MECs and the public entities to really assist us and give us orders within C so that we can get it in a good state. However, it has at least is picking up in terms of its target, at least for this quarter that we are reporting under. Thank you so much, Chairperson. Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you very much. Honorable Pienaar.
Thank you, Chairperson. I would just like to know, will I be allowed to ask back and forth questions, or you want me to pose all my questions?
You may ask back and forth as long as
Thank
it doesn't take 2 hours, eh?
No, it will not, Chairperson, I promise you that. The first question is for the Deputy Minister. Deputy Minister, I just want to know from your side, do you currently have confidence in the financial management of the UIF department? DM?
Oh, you want us to answer now? Okay.
Yes, please.
Can you repeat your question? I was just writing.
Do you have confidence in the financial management team at the UIF, the CFO and her staff?
DM, are you able to answer?
Oh, sorry, Chair. I thought I've unmuted. Yes, Chair. We are confident with the team that we've put in place at
You are
the
confident?
UIF. Yes, we are very confident. The current commissioner is doing a great job.
Okay, DM, I just want to read you, because I'm very sure you also read the Aegis report that we as a committee went through last week, and I want to read you what the AG is saying. there is a non-implementation of action steps. There is the entity submitted financials, yes, within the digital tab, but the credibility of the financials is still questionable. That's the second point. There are significant delays in the IT system that's causing fruitless and wasteful expenditure. The AG literally had nothing good to say about the financials regarding the UIF department, and it's a serious concern for me, DM. And I know you're just one person, but it's something you're going to have to look at and tighten the ropes extremely fast. Because the AG has no confidence. There are millions and millions of fruitless and wasteful expenditures not being investigated by the department or by UIF. There are claims being made about achievement to pay themselves bonuses, and they are also, and according to the AG, there's no proof for these achievements. And they're using this to pay themselves bonuses, and it's deeply disturbing for us, as our role is oversight to ensure that taxpayers' money is being spent well. And according to the AG, that's not happening in the Department or in the UIF department. Then I want to know from your side, to correct this based on the AG's report, what consequent managements are you instilling in that department to ensure that they do comply with legislation currently based on the AG's report?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Honourable Member. I think we agree with you that if we say we are confident with the team, we have confidence in the team, it doesn't mean that there are no challenges. I fully agree with you that there are issues that we need to handle very tight, and that we need to make sure that we deal with speed. Recently, we've just brought in a new commissioner in UIF to deal with these matters, leading UIF to a right direction. And currently, we are seeing the green shoots, we are seeing the greens, the positives coming thick and fast at UIF. Quite a lot of good work has been done, probably in the past 5-6 months that we are coming from. We see a turnaround at UIF currently. Yes, there are still challenges, but that's why we are bringing in a team that we believe is able to turn around the current situation. Remember, with the UIF, we have had a situation where we couldn't appoint the commissioner due to the challenges that the former commissioner had. The challenges that are legal, and those processes have been dealt with. So we are moving towards that direction. The instability at UIF as well will always cause such things. But I think we have seen that quite a number of our officials are being arrested from the office at a labor center level upwards. They are being arrested. We are working very closely. We have put in place a system, a very coherent, a very tight system, working with the SAPS, working with the Hawks, working with the other financial institutions, that even the SIU. We are working with all the law enforcement agencies that are capable and have capacity to work in that environment. So that's why you see a number of our employees, in fact, being arrested. But further to that, you will see that we have brought in a number of some interventions that are ICT orientated at UIF as well, to deal with the fraud and corruption that has been taking place for quite some time. You will see the decrease that indeed there is work that is being done. So that is the work as the ministry that we are doing to try and deal with the challenges that we are faced with. The implementation of corrective measures, we are looking closely, we are monitoring, we get reports from time to time on the work that is being done by all these entities, UIF in particular, in terms of how they are correcting the issues that are identified by the Auditor General, which is one of our main focus, to make sure that we correct everything that has been identified by the Auditor General. And there is a plan that we are implementing currently, led by the DG and the commissioners in these entities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DM, for that. And I'm glad you touched on the ITC system, because that's also a major thing that the AG identified as the reason for a lot of the fruitless and wasteful expenditure happening within the department. My only question there to you, and this will be my last question to you, that I'll move over to Nico, is can you give us a timeline as a committee when the ICT processes will be in place? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. With all due respect, it's a very, very valid question that you are asking. I understand the frustrations that you have, even ourselves, that we are having. We believe very strongly that ICT will be the solution and it will assist us in many ways. But can I request that the committee, so that we give the committee the firm time frames? I don't just suck. We give something that we can say, when you ask us, when we come back to account, we're able to say we're on track where we are. Can we write to the committee and respond to the committee through writing, Chairperson, if you may allow us? I don't want to mislead the committee and give the committee the wrong information. Thank you.
Honourable DM, yes, I agree to that, but we cannot wait until we meet again. So I'm going to give you 14 days to respond to that question, so that the committee is also on par with what you have just now said to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We take that, Chairperson. Thank you very much. We take that.
Thank you, DM. I greatly appreciate that. I think you're right. I think this is where the rubber hits the road. Is we can get these manual systems out of the way and move into the 21st century. It's going to go a long way, saving not only yourself as a department, but more importantly, the taxpayers, hundreds of millions of rands. Then I want to go over to Nico Mabunda. So thank you so much for your presentation. Obviously, you're there from November now, so you haven't been there for a long time, but I'm sure you've had time now to get to know the departments well and the process as well. And I want to compliment you for your timelines. I think that's a critical step in achieving success in the department. However, I do want to touch something that Honourable Motweni also touched on regarding the financial implications of the unbundling. Now, but I want to be a bit more specific. What we don't want to see happen, and I think, and I hope my colleagues would agree with me here, we don't want to see a doubling of the costs. Now, you did say this is one of your major concerns, and you've highlighted it as a challenge going forward. But you know, and I think maybe you're unable at this stage to give us a figure, but I want to push you on that issue. Are we looking at a 10%, 20%, 30% increase in the department? Because the taxpayers of this country are tired of pumping more and more of their money, because it's not government's money, it's the public's money, into inefficient departments that are not pulling their weight. And I want to know from your side, what is the projections in a monetary terms or percentage terms from your side, Nico? I'm Niku, by the way, so it's very close. What is your projections at this stage, and what is the taxpayer looking to invest in this venture? Thank you, Chair. And that's my last question.
Through you, Chair, and thank you, Honorable Pinar. You are quite correct. Our names are very close to each other, but it's correct. It's Nico. What we are saying, Honorable Pinar, is that we have noted that all the processes, the reviews and the reforms that usually end up running at a higher cost than projected. And our aim with the current reforms is to ensure that we actively manage any financial implications to ensure that the unbundling and the reforms that we are having will fall within the current fiscal space and envelope, because we have already been told that there won't be any additional funding that we receive. So that was the reason why we identified the issue of financial risks. Not that we are anticipating that there should be any additional monies that will be required. Thank you, Honorable Binar and Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mabunda. Honorable Modise.
Thank you so much, Chairperson. Good morning to you and good morning to all honorable members on the platform, the Deputy Minister. I think there are two ahead, Deputy Minister Shabalala speaking earlier, and colleagues from the committee and the department. Chair, I only have one question and one question only directly to the Deputy Minister. Much as I welcome the presentation made, and I want the department to be aware that we also received a research on the unbundling from the committee researcher, and we've also gone through it outside the 45 slides that were sent in by the department. And my interest was on the legislative timelines, the key milestone on the legal separation, including the way forward. Now, I heard the minister asking to reply in writing in terms of the actual timelines that will take for them to process some of the outstanding issues. I just want to ask the minister one question, or deputy minister rather, one question and one question only. That at the time a executive decision was taken to continue the unbundling, were the ministry convinced that that is a right decision to take for the benefit of the people of the Republic and the department itself, especially when you take into consideration the people that is expected to service in this regard? Thanks, Chair.
Over to you, DM.
Thank you very much, Chair, and thanks to Honorable Modise. Thank you so much for the question. We are certain, as the ministry, as the minister, together with the deputy ministers, we are quite certain that this is the right way to save these entities and make them work. We strongly believe that the case that we have presented over some time, because we've been presenting on this unbundling for quite some time, and we continue to strengthen the work that is being done every day in making sure that it delivers. We are quite certain that it is going to deliver what the people of this republic deserves, because with all the work that is being done, the consultations that we've done, the processes that we are undergoing, we strongly believe that unbundling is the way to go to make sure that these entities, in particular, because as the members have said, and the Honorable Modise and other honorable members have said, the money we're talking about here, it's not even government money, it's workers' money. It's literally workers' money. They work very hard every day, and the contributions that they make are the ones that you will find in UIF and compensation fund, where employers do contribute as well. So it's a case that we need not to, to thumbsuck. We are certain. We've been calling the teams, we've been engaging with the teams. They've been presenting to us. So far, we are quite confident that this is the right decision that is going to save these entities and make them work for their purposes, be fit for purpose, because that's what is most important as well. They must be fit for purpose and provide services to workers as we expect them to. Thank you very much, Honorable Modise. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, DM. We've heard a lot, but I'm still not completely convinced. We've now seen that the completion timeline has shifted from 2025 to 2026 to 2027, and for the unbundling. And then, if I heard correctly, 2028 for the full reconfiguration. DM and your team, could you specifically say to me what caused the slippage, why it happened, who's accountable for it, and what corrective mechanisms are now in place to prevent any further delays. I'm going to ask all my questions, and then somebody can respond. Then another worrisome aspect is that you're proceeding with elements of this reform while the legislative framework is still being finalized. This is something that bothers me. Can you then clarify to me which components are already being implemented and how you are mitigating the legal and governance risks associated with the restructuring ahead of the legislative authorization? Now, we've spoken about costs, etc., and we await your written response on that for us, because something else that I would like you to give us in writing, I would like to know how much of the costs is being spent on external consultants versus building an internal state capability. And then with regard to service delivery outcomes, you've now positioned this reform as a solution to delays and inefficiencies in claims processing. But DM, on a daily basis, I get requests from people that have submitted claims that don't even get an acknowledgement letter. Again, in this week, I wrote to the commissioner with regard to a Miss Van Wyk that's also waiting. No response has been given to her, no acknowledgement. So can you tell me what is the current turnaround times for UIF and compensation fund claims, and what measurable improvements will be achieved, and by when will beneficiaries see those improvements, particularly in light of the persistent control weaknesses identified by the AG? And then Honorable Pienaar touched on the AG's concerns, and given that 97% of irregular and fruitless expenditure remains unresolved and that consequence management has been consistently weak, what specific accountability mechanisms will be implemented in the new structure to ensure that these failures are not just simply carried into the unbundled entities? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, these questions, they are coming. I thought Chair will ask only 2 questions. Thank you, Chair. We appreciate your questions, very comprehensive, and they are questions that are really trying to get to the bottom of how things are done and what we are intending to do. Chair, I will start and then ask the Deputy Minister, because I know that will be the last question, to come in on some of the areas, and then the team is going to come in, Chair, and just close every gap that we will be leaving out of what you have asked. The issue of the preventative measures that we are going to put in place to stop the shifts on timelines, Chair. It's what was presented in the presentation earlier by Mr. Mabunda. Just tabulate some of the things that, as he said, that as at our level, as the ministry, we are having our eyes on the ball on this matter of unbundling, because we understand its significance and importance. So we're having our eyes on it like every day, because we don't want to drop the ball. We don't want, Chair, we fully agree with you that we can't continuously shift the timelines and the timeframes. That one shows failures on our side, but also it shows a picture that says it's like we don't know what we are doing. So that's why we are presenting these timelines, which we have revised, and we believe they are measurable, and they are timelines that are practical, that are smart, that we can be able to work with and get and arrive where we want to arrive exactly on the timelines that we have put in place. So as the ministry ourselves, we are on this. We are monitoring, because the issue of monitoring and also oversight matters most, Chair, as you are doing it to us. We have a responsibility to do it in the department and play that oversight role in a very extensive manner and day to day, and make sure that there's no seepage, there's nothing that is not done in a manner that we have agreed upon. So I'm going to ask the DM to come in some of the issues, and then just after her, the team will come in and close in all the matters that we might have left, so that we don't leave the committee without answering the questions. Indeed, we are going to write to the committee Chair, regarding the how much we spend on external and consultants and internal capacity vis-a-vis building the internal capacity. But Chair, I must tell you, we are obsessed with building internal capacity. We are really building internal capacity in the department, because we want to have our own capable professionals who do everything within the department without spending money on consultants. So there is a lot of work that is being done in building internal capacity. DM.
Thank you so much, Deputy Minister. Let's thank the questions from Honorable Modise and the Chairperson. I think you've covered me, Deputy Minister, because ourselves, overall and above, the commitments and our role as the executive to do oversight over what we would have planned through our strategic plan and our performance plans. I think we remain committed when it comes to holding, obviously, the department in the service delivery in matters that they need to do. And we take serious, serious consideration when it comes to the issue of the Auditor General. There are irregular expenditure that I think Honorable Member has highlighted, and we continuously have employed that the department needs to improve on these material irregularities that has been addressed. And there are takeaways in some of the audit outcomes that would have came out. I think, Deputy Minister, the questions are more about the department and functionality and administrative really on, and when are they hoping to turn around the situation. Maybe the last point for me really will be on the matter on the when it comes to the labor centers, the efficiency that we need to see, the productivity that we need to see, and the performance when it comes to servicing our people. On the Deputy Minister Modise, I think, look, the question is more policy. And when he asked us, did we think and why did this decision be taken? It has been very clear that over time, the performance has not been great and our people are not getting exactly what they need to get when they go to these labor centers, especially on the performance of the UIF, being on the IT that the Deputy Minister has spoken about, that we are turning around the situation such that these claims that people make, they're able to receive one. The communication has been able to be done timelessly to the persons, and the backlog that we have has been addressed. I think really on my part, DM, I was just here to support yourself. However, I can hand it back to yourself so that the department can answer the more functional and administrative issues. Thank you so much.
DM, if I could just interject, I see a member's hand is up, Honorable Mabilu. Could I ask him to just come in as well? And then Honorable van der Berg, your hand was up and it was taken down. Do you still need to ask a question?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I've been covered to a lot.
Sorry. No, sorry. I wanted to ask from Honorable van den Berg if he wanted a question. I'm waiting for a response. His hand was up long before yours, Honorable Mabilu, but let's go to Honorable Mabilu and then we go to Honorable van den Berg.
No, thank you very much, Chair. I'll be brief. I just want to comment by saying I welcome the presentation and then I support the unbundling process because clearly what we have listened to the presentation is a clear business case. Why the motivation thereof? Because we have been sitting in this committee almost for a year and we have always received reports around UIF and the compensation fund that were really disturbing. So for me, this is a strategic intervention and is a step in the right direction, worthy to be supported. So Chair, my only two questions will be one, what is going to obtain in the interim between now and the actualization of the rationalization process or restructuring? Because my own understanding is that it is a process. That's the first one. The second one is going to be what is going now to happen to the skills program that are supposed to unfold. But overall, Chair, I'm comfortable with the presentation. Thank you for the opportunity, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mabilu. DM and Didi G, if you could answer my questions and those that are outstanding before I go to Honorable van den Berg.
Thank you, Chair. Let me allow the team to respond. DDG and the team.
Thank you so much, DM. Thanks, Honorable Chairperson. I think the question that was asked by Honorable Muntwedi earlier about the acting position within the CF of the Commissioner, I just want to confirm that by the 1st of April, we'll have an appointment of a new Commissioner at the CF. And then on the issue of the UIF and the CF turnaround times, I think I will hand those questions over to the two commissioners. I think they are in the meeting, the acting commissioners. And the other issue of the cost of consultants, I've also noted that. I think that's what we will respond to the committee in terms of in writing, together with the ICT improvements within the UIF and the CF that will be done within the 14-day turnaround time that was allotted by the chairperson. And also on the issues of the AG concerns, I'll just say that in brief, when we do have these issues raised by the AGSA, every year we come up with a management corrective action plan. But to get into the detail of the irregular and the fruitless wasteful expenditure, I think the two acting commissioners will then be able to update and say exactly what is it that they do in detail. Thank you, Chairperson. The other questions that I've left out, I think Mr. Mabunda will be able to handle those questions. Over to you, Mr. Mabunda, then the CF and the UIF commissioners will come in. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, DDG. I think you have answered all the questions. The only one that I really think we can really talk about is the issue of improvements to consequence management that the Honorable Chair has spoken about. And we can report that the acting Director General has taken an active management of the consequence management issues at all levels. There, for instance, there are letters that have been sent on to request information on all the areas of audit findings that were not implemented. And those are being addressed via the Office of the Director General, as well as the Employee Relations Unit within the department. and the Director General then acts on those areas based on the responses that are being taken through. The idea is that before the issue of unbundling is finalized, all previous consequence management areas that are supposed to have been dealt with are supposed to have been addressed within the current timelines that are there. I think the rest are for UIF and CF, especially around the turnaround times. Thank you, DDG.
Thank you, DDG. If I may come in.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. Thank you, Honorable Chair, and good afternoon or morning to the honorable members and to our DMs and everyone on the platform. Just on the issue of the UIF, maybe Chair, let me start with the issue that you raise about the communication. Yes, we did receive the communication, the letter yesterday. And if it is the same letter dealing with a matter that had been raised previously, I think by Mr. Bahrain, we already have an agreement to meet. We will be meeting quite shortly to deal with that matter. Some of the matters that we have to deal with are very complex in that resolution of it in some instance may seem simple, but has real legal consequences. I'll give you an example. We're now dealing with a transaction where somebody apparently maybe 10 or 15 years ago may have received a payment from the fund that they ought not to have received. So they would have received an overpayment for an instance of unemployment. They now come now and they are claiming because they are in that space again. The automated part of our work is such that it picks up that there is an outstanding debt. And therefore, it wants to take out of this current claim that outstanding, the outstanding debt. And now the issues that we have to deal with is whether we can just continue, forgive, proceed, in light of the fact that for those individuals, this thing has a direct impact, an immediate impact, because their incomes have been displaced. So there are quite complex matters that may seem easy, but they are difficult, including in law, because if we don't deal with them correctly, there are going to be audit findings. But on a matter of a conscience, they do seem that they need to be dealt with differently. And in some instances, because such matters are not your normal day-to-day issues that arise, we are working to also have processes that allow deviations, not for the fund to be defrauded, but for us to have a humane and a legally applicable way of dealing with who essentially are contributors to the fund. So we've got two classes of cases. You can have the complex cases, and those, depending on the complexities and some of the issues in between that may have happened, may take as long as 6 months to resolve. But then we've got some quick issues that within 5 days we can resolve within our SOP. It is written, coded on how those issues must be resolved, and those we try to resolve as quickly as possible. But there are the day-to-day lived challenges that we have to confront it against also our ambition of a clean audit, but making sure that we've got a fund that is actually responsive and caring. I thought I would just answer it in that way to indicate that we are responding. In some instances, the response, the timeline will depend on the complexity of the matter, but where the matters are not complex at all, we take decisions quickly. The DM indicated that we are also automating some of the processes, because in automating the processes, it also allows us to deal with matters quickly. It requires not just ourselves, but also our partners, the employers who do the contributions to also come to the party. And another big area that should never be a point of delay, but has caused us consistent delays in ensuring that funds go to those people that need those funds because their incomes have been displaced, is the fact that we've got employers that do not declare correctly and are not updating the declarations. And then in instances where there may have been a difficulty with a worker, when we want to go back and ask the employer to confirm employment status and all of those things, they tend to be, sometimes they don't want to cooperate, or they are very slow to cooperate. Yeah. So those are some of the issues that on a day-to-day we have to deal with. But from a finance perspective, we are working to bolster our capacity so that we can keep to the requirement to pay our invoices on time, so that we don't cause frustration in as far as that is concerned. So on these exceptional situations where we will be dealing with complaints, it tends to be the more complex of our problems. As I had indicated in our last presentation, we would deal with around 90,000 transactions in a month. And the complaints, at least that I have seen, are less than 4%. And we know that it's important that we kill that 4%, but it's also a story to tell that there is a 96% where things are going right. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much for that. Could I then ask, with regard to these claims, that the claimant be given notice that you acknowledge receipt of the claim? Because invariably these people come to us and they send us everything with their reference numbers, but they just don't get any response from your officers. It's just courtesy to say we acknowledge receipt. Then they know that their concerns have been taken up and is going to receive the attention it deserves. Colleagues, let's just ask Honourable van den Berg, do you still have a question?
Chair, yes, I didn't take my hand down because I have been covered to most of the questions, but I did want to comment around the time frame. You know, bureaucracy finds a way to keep themselves busy and employed, and it would have been far faster if it had been a simple private sector unbundling. But I was a bit concerned that we had to ask questions around AI and digitalization, where today any professional business person would not even have thought about it. It had to be a crucial part of the business, and I find it quite difficult to now have to wait for an answer around it. But anyway, I have real concerns about the real urgency of the executive to really make a change. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Colleagues, I just want to find out, have all the questions been answered? DM, DDG, have you responded to all the questions or not yet?
Chair, Honourable Montwedi.
Honourable Montwedi, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Some of my questions are not responded to, but I hope that because the department will be giving an answer, a written answer, they should be covered there. Like, just for an example, I raised a question about the roadmap. When will the roadmap on unbundling be made public? And I've not received an answer on that, but I hope that that answer we will get in writing. But the other thing is just a concern to say, I asked when Mr. Sibia, the DM Sibia did respond to one question that I made and made reference that the work that they are presenting today is as a result of the work done by government and GTech, which is an entity of the department. And in my question, I reminded him that the issue of consultants was mentioned by Mr. Nico, and Mebahumi comes in and say they will respond in writing on the cost around consultant. But is it necessary for her to respond on cost around consultants when the DM has already indicated that there are no consultants involved in this project? It's only government and that state-owned GTech that is responsible. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Over to you, DM, and your team.
Thank you very much, Chair. Thank you, Honourable Member Mutwedi, for your second bite. We are going to answer, yes, regarding the timeline when the roadmap will be published. We'll answer it together with other questions that are going to be written back to the committee. So we will do that even on that one. You know, maybe one another issue, there was an issue that was raised saying there are staff members at UIF who get bonuses and everything. For the past 6 years, there hasn't been bonuses given to management, UIF management, for the past 6 years. So we must say that in the committee to the members that no, there are no bonuses that have been paid because there is work that needs to be done there, and the performance is not at a level where you can give bonuses. Then the part of the consultants, when I said we are using GTech, it's part of the people that we are working with GTech. I was just responding to say we are using part of the consultants that we are using are within government. Largely, GTech is doing a bigger part of the work that we are doing together. The bigger part of the work is done by the department and GTech. So we will respond to that, Honourable Member and the Chair and the committee. Thank you very much. I think we have answered the question, Chair. The questions that we believe we had to answer, except what was raised as the last, which we are going to write, and we apologize that it was never responded to, but we are definitely going to write back to the committee regarding the issue of publication of the timelines. And we appreciate the opportunity, Chair, that we have given us, and we will forever be ready to come and present ourselves and subject ourselves to this committee. And your guidance and counseling is always appreciated, and the members of the committee always raise very, very crucial questions, but also advise us accordingly. We don't take this lightly. We have serious respect for the committee. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, DM. I take it those were your closing remarks, unless you want to give
Definitely,
us any
Chair.
more. Okay,
Definitely.
thank you very much.
I was trying to take everything at once so that we save time.
Okay, super. Thank you very much. In saying that, I would like to thank you and your department for presenting to us. We are awaiting in anticipation the written report that will be sent to us within the next 14 days. And then you may be excused. We're just going to do some internal minutes, but you're more than welcome to remain on the platform. But knowing that everybody has a very stringent program, I will excuse you. And in saying that, colleagues, as you know, I did have an operation and I have a doctor's appointment right now, and I'd like to hand over to Honourable Pienaar to take you forward with the rest of the agenda, and I will excuse myself so that I can just go for a checkup after this operation. Thank you very much for a robust interaction, and goodbye from me. Honourable Pienaar, over to you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Chairperson.
Honourable Bostos. Yeah, this is Deputy Minister Chabalala. I thought I will make a nomination who must take over, that Honorable Modise can chair the session. On a lighter note, thank you so much for accepting.
No, it's not on a lighter note. I'm in full agreement.
Thank you, Chairperson. Colleagues, let's move on quickly. And I think we all are on our way to Parliament for today's plenary. Mardia, can you just flight the minutes? Is that it?
Yes, yes, Honorable Pinard. These are the minutes of the last meeting, the 10th of March.
Thank you, Mardia. Guys, colleagues, this is the only minutes to be adopted. Please just hold this. Everybody can see if their name is there. And go to the apologies. I trust everybody read it. You can scroll through, Mardia. Apologies. Thank you. Go.
Honorable Pinard, Honorable Modise's hand is raised.
Honorable DC, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Honorable Pina and honorable members. I move for the adoption of the minutes as a reflection of the discussion in the previous meeting. Thank you.
Yaliboa, Honorable DC, do I have a seconder? I see Honorable Van der Berg. You are recognized.
Thank you, our Deputy Chairman. I would like to second the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, Mardia, if I have it correct, that's the only thing left on the agenda. Colleagues,
Yes.
thank you. I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you in the house. And yeah, have a great week. Bye.
Recording stopped.